All right, this is our last lecture day for this term, and then you're going into crime scene for next time. Please, sometime today, sort of click on the crime scene thing, look at the rubric because it's different than last time. Make sure you understand exactly what I'm asking of you. Remember, every term it gets a little bit more difficult, I guess I saw. So I'm looking for you to include all of the things we've already talked about in your crime scene. Okay? We're going to go into body cavities today, organs, the cavities of the body, the abdominal regions, and possible traumas. So let's get started. I'm going to add to your pile of stuff that you've got already with another little game here. And you can put it with your skeleton if you'd like to keep it and practice. This is another one that you're going to pass off with me. So if you want to practice more, you can.
Are you trying to write on the screen?
Yeah, but that's another thing they're having us do for those that have hearing problems or IEPs, so that you can hear what I say and you can see what I say. Nice. So, okay. I'm going to have you do this with me right now while it's up on the screen, and then I'm going to have you take it off and do it again. Okay? So go ahead and get those out and just sort of put them down where it goes. You'll often see our doctors say, is it the lower quadrant, is it the lower quadrant, is it the upper quadrant, upper quadrant. This even divides the belly area into even more regions, so they can really narrow down exactly where it's going. So, hypochondriac has to do with the head, and that's how I remember it. So hypo, head, because if you're hypochondriac, you're like, freaked out. Okay, so I put that at the top. So you got your left and your right. Now, it is for the body, not the way you're looking at it. It's the body's right and the body's left. Okay, epigastric is above, but hypogastric is below. And that one's sort of backwards. So you've got to remember that middle one is backwards. You've got the lumbar region. That should be okay because remember your thoracic is your ribs, so below the thoracic or below the rib cage is your lumbar. And then the iliac is your hips, that top part of your hip. Okay? So if you remember that, it makes it really easy to find each of these places. Okay, you think you got it? Okay, take them off, turn them upside down, mess them up, and let's see if you can do it. Okay, go ahead. We're going to do a timer. Go. When you get it done, say, okay, stop, and I'll give you time. Okay, 27 seconds, stop. 30 seconds, stop. 32 seconds, stop. 33 seconds. Okay, so you have to do this without having looked at it before, like we just did, within 2 minutes. Pass it off. You have an 8. The other one, you need to do it within 5 minutes. You have an 8. I changed it. You didn't like? Oh, were you here not here last time? No. Okay, I need to get you the skeleton. Okay, you need to do that one within 5 minutes. Okay? Oops, I didn't do this. All right, so that's our test for this one. Pretty easy. As far as the others, when we're talking about the organs and stuff, you're not going to have a per se test, but you'll have quizzes on it. This is our lovely mannequin here. He's really heavy. If you would get out your notes real quick before I'm going to let you go to drawing this on your skeleton in a minute. I wanted to go ahead and do the notes for this, so I don't have to stop the video, and then I'll let you go do the other. So on the front here, underneath standard 3, on your notes, in the very front, it tells you what organs you need to know. So let's look at our guide here and sort of point out those organs. So lungs, pretty easy, looking at lungs, right? They're going to be bilateral, they're going to be this area right here, so this would be our lungs. Okay, brain is pretty easy, right, up at the top, brain. I didn't go in order, you guys keep me in order. Heart. Heart is going to be in the center. You like my little drawing right here? This is your heart. Okay, then we look at the diaphragm. There is a membrane right under the lungs that goes all the way across, right here, and right here. That is known as the diaphragm. Okay, so it goes all the way across right here, and it's your diaphragm. The esophagus, this is coming down right here, the esophagus coming down in your neck when you swallow. The trachea is where, so it's not where you swallow, it's the part before it branches off into the lungs. So if you're looking right here, your trachea would go down to your stomach, but this part right here that branches off into the lungs, that's known as the trachea. Okay, stomach is going to be on your left side, and it wraps around like this underneath your liver. Okay, your spleen is, so it's, the spleen is right in this area right here, okay, and your pancreas comes down like this. So your spleen is sort of a area right there. So spleen and then pancreas, and then you've got your liver. So your liver is this big area right here. Liver, this is stomach.
I didn't know the liver was so big.
It is, and it's the one organ that we have that will regenerate. So if somebody needs you to donate a liver, they can cut off the lower lobe and put it into the body that you're donating to, and it regrows, and yours regrows.
Oh, that's so cool.
Okay, so that's sort of cool. Gallbladder is this little green thing right here on our mannequin. So it will be a little teeny thing right here. This gallbladder actually regulates your acids in your stomach and digestive things. Your small intestine are all these little things in the center. So this is small intestines. And I probably have more video, or I cannot spell. Anyway, intestines for that bottom one. Large intestines wrap up and around like this. And then when it straightens up and goes straight down, you have the colon. This is also sometimes known as the colon, this left side coming down, and the straight part. And then your anus is where your poop comes out. Kidneys are on both sides, and let's see if I can pull these out. Let's see if we get some kidneys in here. I don't think I have kidneys. Yep, I do, right here. These are kidneys right here. Okay, and on this picture right here, the kidneys are here. Okay. Like I said, this is your colon coming down, and sometimes they call this part right here your colon too, this descending large intestine. All right, pancreas right here, and right here is the what was that called? Not spleen. So pancreas and spleen. Kidneys, we just did. Bladder, of course, would be right here, this white part down here, and it usually sits right here in front of the anus and the colon. So this would be your bladder. And this is large intestines. Okay, so this guy I'm going to put over here, and you can sort of play with him today if you would like to. Take things apart and sort of look and see how things go. He is a bit heavy. He needs to lose some weight. All right. So let's see what else I've got up here for you. You're actually going to take your skeleton and you're going to put all these organs inside of your skeleton. And I'd like you to do it on the back side because if you drew it in black, you should be able to see your skeleton through. If you want to do it on the front where your skeleton is, that's fine too. I want you to use crayons. I know that sounds funny, but I want you to use crayons because I want you to really color it in so you can see what things are, and I want you to label it. Okay, so the heart in the center, lungs, pancreas, remember it's going to look, it looks sort of bubbly. It's sort of like a sideways teardrop shape, and it's underneath the liver. Stomach is going to be on this side, liver on this side. You've got intestines, the large and the small, your bladder, whoops. Liver is always darker. This is your trachea, where it connects before it separates to the lungs. And kidneys do look like kidney beans on either side. Okay? And it's reconnecting. I'm hoping it's figuring it out. So looking from the side, this is what you look like from the side. Your esophagus coming down in the back. Your trachea coming in the front. That's why when they have to put the trachea in when you can't breathe, right here, they can go in right there and get it. Your lungs, your sternum, okay, your heart, and then your diaphragm. Remember we talked about the diaphragm here? It is a membrane that separates the heart and lungs from the rest of the bowels. Okay, your kidneys off to the side, gallbladder, underneath the liver, a little green thing, stomach, and then your large intestines, and of course your rectum. Another way to look at it, again, the spleen is on this side, so on your left side, so if it's something pointing here, you can't really see it, that's your spleen. Pancreas is underneath, it shows here underneath the stomach, it's more underneath the liver, but they've moved the liver up, so, in this diagram. Anybody remember what this is?
Trachea? No, epiglottis.
No,
It's
that one bone, that one little bone.
hyoid.
Hyoid, there we go. Okay, so I'm looking at the hyoid here, it would hold the tongue. Okay? Alright, so looking again, different view. I'm just giving you a whole bunch of different views so that hopefully, you know, you can see how things are looking here. Again, the spleen is most often shown by just a little thing right here. Okay, that's known as a spleen. Remember, it's on the left side. Where the pancreas will go all the way across. Okay, and again, they're showing the liver sort of turned up here so that you can see the gallbladder underneath, right here. That's actually they show it right there. Oops. The little green thing, it's not very big. This is actually their kidney. That's what they're showing there. So they've sort of flipped it up so you can see underneath what's going on. So that's not really a true look at it. But if you need to do that when you're drawing, that's fine. This would be another kidney on this side. Remember kidney beans, kidneys. Stomach has that sort of look like that. And here they're showing both the bladder and the rectum. So be really careful in diagrams. If it's pointing out here, that's the bladder. If it points down in here, that's the rectum. Okay? If it points down here, death threats. I don't know how it's not exactly saying what I'm saying. All right, so we're going to watch this little body cavity thing here because we do.
Before we do that, I missed the second body.
The second one?
Yeah.
So going back? That one?
Yeah.
Okay. Give you a few minutes with that one. And then I'll give you, while you're doing that, I'll give you a skeleton.
I wasn't here last time.
You weren't here last time either? Okay. I knew there were 2 or 3 of you that weren't here last time. So, the deal with the skeleton is these are checked out to you. These are not yours. So, same thing with the other one. You can put it in your bag. In fact, I would like you to get it all in one bag. That would be awesome. And then when we're done with this unit, when you go to pass it off, I want them back from you. Okay?
We just need the rest of this picture.
You need the what?
The rest of it? Or are we not doing the bottom?
We're just doing this much.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so going forward, let's watch this body cavity. Hopefully I've got the sound turned up for you. Nope. And of course, it won't let me do that. There we go. Come on.
Body cavities. The body contains many cavities that house internal organs. The body cavities can be segmented into ventral and dorsal cavities.
Okay, both of them.
Ventral means further to the front, and dorsal means further to the back. The dorsal cavities include two separate
Okay, we'll
cavities.
just talk over it then.
The cranial cavity, which is within the
dorsal
skull
cavity,
and houses the brain,
Cranial cavity,
and the spinal cavity runs down the back and houses the spinal cord. The ventral cavities consist of two separate cavities, the thoracic cavity and the abdominal pelvic cavity, which are divided by the diaphragm. The thoracic cavity can be subdivided into three sections: the mediastinum in the center, which houses the heart, trachea, bronchi, esophagus, thymus, and some major blood vessels, and the pleural cavities, which are located in the sides of the mediastinum and house the lungs. The abdominal pelvic cavity can also be subdivided into two sections: the abdominal cavity and the pelvic cavity. The abdominal cavity houses the liver, gallbladder, stomach, pancreas, small intestine, and part of the large intestine. And the pelvic cavity houses the bladder, reproductive organs, and part of the large intestine. And that be the body cavities.
So let me go back real quick right here. No, it's not going to let me see it. What?
Reproductive organs.
Okay. So really quickly, cranial cavity, that's pretty easy. Cranium, right? They call it your skull a cranium. Spinal cavity, again, that's pretty easy because that's where your spine goes. Thoracic is where your lungs are. So if you remember that thoracic cavity, that's your lungs above the diaphragm. Okay, in those things where you're asked that, usually you'll have to know the diaphragm too, and that's just underneath the lungs. Then on the bottom part, you just need to know abdominal cavity or pelvic cavity. Okay, abdominal cavity or pelvic cavity. We okay to go forward? Okay. So cranial cavity, spinal cavity, thoracic cavity, abdominal cavity, and pelvic cavity. All right.
And part of the large.
Okay, this is another way to look at it really quickly. What is known as the dorsal cavity includes the cranium and the vertebrae or spinal cavity. So if they don't say spinal cavity, they'll say vertebrae cavity. Same thing. Okay, vertebrae is where your spinal cord goes. So they some say spinal, some say vertebral. Okay, your ventral has to do with your front. So this one you've got your thoracic, your abdominal, and your pelvic. So dorsal is cranium and vertebral, ventral is thoracic, abdominal, and pelvic, and then the diaphragm. That's what we're going to be worried about. Okay, you have a learning check next. Don't look at what you just written down. See if you can go ahead and fill in what these are.
Those are called. It's on the other page. Oh.
The one thing I missed putting in here is what these over on this side are called as a group. So this one has the group there, but I forgot to put the group back on this one. So if you want to do that, that would be good. On the right hand side. Okay, 15 seconds, I'm going to put the answers up. Whoops, or not. Okay, the top one should be what, everybody? Cranial cavity. Total on this is what? Dorsal cavity. Good. What is this one? Spinal or vertebral. Good. What's the top one on the right? Thoracic. Good. What is this line right here representing? Diaphragm. Good. And this area right here? Abdominal. And the bottom? Bottom cavity is? Pelvic. These all are called what? Ventral cavities. Good. All right, so really fast again, looking at your regions on your body, of your belly area. Hypochondriac, hypochondriac, right and left. Remember, it's the person's right and the person's left. Epigastric is above, hypogastric is below. So we've got to be careful here because hypogastric is below. Lumbar, with your lumbar right across from your belly button. And remember where your belly button is, that's the umbilical, so that makes it easy to remember. Right iliac and left iliac, this is your hips. If you remember the top of your hips, that will help you remember that. And I just remember gastric is around my belly button. And epi is high, hypo is low for that one. But just remember hypochondriac is high. Yes. I'll pass this up front. Okay, so grab your things again real fast. We're going to play tic-tac-toe again. Learning check. Let's see if you can do your tic-tac-toe real fast again. Ready, set, dump them out. See if you can do it faster than you did last time. And go. Let me know when you're done. Give you time. Ooh, 14 seconds. Good job.
Got it.
18, 19,
Got it.
22. You guys are not going to need 2 minutes. This one.
I just got it, but I started it.
Okay, so that would be 36, 37. You decide how far behind you were. You're still way under the 2 minutes. Okay, before you put them away, we're going to check it. Okay, that's a minute 10 right now. All right, so check and see. Did you do it right? Because you got to do it underneath 2 minutes and you've got to do it right. Okay, go ahead and put them in your little bags again. You can practice at home. When you think you are ready, when you think you are got this down, come up and pass it off, and that'll be part of your test for this unit. The other is the skeleton and the areas. Okay, so let's talk about just for a minute. I don't know why these are coming up in the middle of this, but that's okay. Some traumas that can happen to the body and some things that might show in autopsy. So a sharp force like a knife. That's going to cut through the skin, any organs, and probably leave an edge on any bone that it might be coming in contact with. So we might be able to see that something sharp tried to cut that bone. If we have a communicated, that is like a car accident. This could cause a broken bone by impact. So we might not see anything on the outside but bruising. But there is something going on inside. A projectile, that's pretty easy if it's a bullet, if it's an arrow, if it's a piece of wood that came flying through a windshield, or a piece of wrought iron that came through a windshield. That's pretty easy to tell because it's usually there or it has left a path all the way through. And again, that can shatter bones, that can put holes or perforation in body parts. That's why a lot of times if something's impaled, they tell you not to take it off until you're in the hospital. For instance, if an arrow goes through you, don't try and remove it because it can cause major bleeding, right? And you would bleed out. Okay, blunt force. This you'll see, you might be able to see a concave area if it's like a bat that's hit a head. You would be able to see broken bones. You would be able to see muscles and ligament tears. You would be able to see if it was in the body part, burst organs without a specific point. Okay. All right, and that's the end of today. So what you're going to do now to practice is you're going to take your skeletons and you're going to put the body organs in them. And you can use this as a start point if you want to, or you can use the pictures you've got. But I want you to color with the coloring crayons and label them, and that's part of today's notes. So you can take a picture of that with the notes and upload it. Then you can work on practicing with your skeleton, practicing with your stomach regions, playing with the mannequin to sort of see where things are, whatever you would like to do. Yes, ma'am.
Is are these all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So
And if you don't want to open it up, you've got them listed right here. So you are responsible for everything on the standards for this area. And you see it goes on to the other. And you'll see the performance skills. We did that last time. You had to identify the skeletons by the skull, the jaw, the throat, brow ridge, pelvis, or the femur. So that's what we did last time. That was a performance skill. And to sort of look through the rest, because these are things you're going to be tested on your test, your CTE test at the end of the year. So we're trying to make them through them all, and then we'll do a real quick review. All right? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Before I do, really quickly, make sure that if there's anything that you have not turned in, you get it turned in. Because next time when you come, we're going to be working on the crime scene stuff, right? For Friday the 13th when we put the crime scene up. Okay. I will not be here on the 11th, so you need to get everything out of the evidence lockers on Monday, and you need to decide with your person, whoever you're doing it with, what type of blood spatter you're going to use at your crime scene, because you're going to need to make it on Monday. Okay? All right. Go ahead and get started, and I'll come do that